I was born into the warrior society of Sparta, where every breath, every heartbeat, was driven by a single purpose: war. From the moment I opened my eyes, I was taught that Sparta was everything, and I was nothing without it. My lineage was royal. I was the son of King Leonidas II. Yet, despite my bloodline, nothing came easy. To be Spartan meant to be tough, disciplined, and relentless. The Agode was our training system, designed to turn boys into men, men into warriors, and warriors into legends. I was no exception to this harsh upbringing, despite my royal status. I did not want exceptions. I wanted to earn my place. As a young boy, the Agode stripped away weakness. It was survival of the fittest, and every day was a test. We fought, starved, and endured punishment without question. They taught us that pain was temporary, but Sparta was eternal. We were trained to feel no fear, to never surrender, and to live by a strict code of honor. Through the Agode, I learned that our lives were meant to be spent on the battlefield, defending the values of Sparta until death. The stories of our ancestors, men who lived and died by the sword, fueled my desire to become the best warrior I could be. I knew that one day I might be called upon to protect our great city, and I would not fail. Sparta wasn't like other Greek cities. We did not value wealth or luxuries. Our riches were our people, our honor, and our strength. Everything else was secondary. In a way, I pitied other Greeks who spent their lives chasing gold and comfort, unaware of the glory that comes only through discipline and combat. My path, however, was clear from a young age. I would fight for Sparta, and I would die for Sparta if necessary. But I was not the first in line to be king. My older half-brother, Cleomenes, sat on the throne before me. Cleomenes was a fierce ruler in his own right. I loved him dearly, but he wasn't built to lead like I was. I brought this up to Father a lot as a youngling, but he refused to listen. And sure enough, as I had expected, after sitting on the throne for a few years, he went insane and committed suicide. I was next in line. In 488 BC, I ascended to the throne of Sparta. I accepted my role as king with pride and reverence, but I knew that it carried a weight of responsibility. The lives of my people and the safety of my city were now in my hands. As king, I swore to my people that I would lead Sparta with the same courage and fearlessness that my predecessors had shown. I knew that the gods would test me, and I was ready for whatever challenge they laid before me. My opportunity to prove myself came not long after. In the summer of 480 BC, Greece found itself on the brink of annihilation. A great storm was gathering in the east. Xerxes, the king of Persia, was marching towards Greece with an army so vast that it darkened the horizon. Some said his forces numbered over 80,000, but truthfully, their numbers were beyond counting. This was not just an army. It was a force meant to crush Greece underfoot, to end our way of life forever. Word reached us that Xerxes had already conquered much of northern Greece. Now, he set his sights on the south, on our lands. The question was no longer whether he would attack, but when. Greece was divided in many ways. Different city-states with their own rulers, armies, and priorities. But in this moment, we knew we had to stand together. If we didn't, we would be swept away like sand in the wind. It was decided that we would make our stand at Thermopylae, a narrow mountain pass that led into central Greece. This was the perfect location. The pass was so narrow that Xerxes' overwhelming numbers would mean nothing. We could hold them there, just as long as we stood firm. As the ruler of Sparta, I was expected to lead my men into battle. But for me, it was more than just duty. It was honor. I handpicked 300 of my finest warriors, men who had fought with me for years, men I trusted with my life. These were not just any Spartans. They were my brothers, warriors who had been through the same brutal training as I had. Together, we would go to Thermopylae to meet the Persians. This was not a decision I made lightly. I knew many of us would not return. But we Spartans do not fear death. We embrace it as long as it comes with honor. My wife, Gorgo, understood this. Though I left her behind with our son, she knew what was at stake. Like any Spartan woman, She would rather I return on my shield than in disgrace. The journey to Thermopylae was somber but filled with purpose. Along the way, we were joined by soldiers from other Greek city-states. The total force numbered around 4,000 men, a meager number compared to the Persian horde that awaited us. But we knew the terrain would be our ally. The narrow pass would prevent them from overwhelming us with sheer numbers. We would meet them head-on, Spartan style, phalanx to phalanx, shield to shield, with no retreat and no surrender. As we arrived at Thermopylae, we set up our defenses and waited. Xerxes sent messengers demanding our surrender, promising that if we laid down our arms, he would spare our lives. I could feel the eyes of my men on me as the heralds relayed the message. I stood tall and gave the only response a Spartan could give: "Come and take them." This was the essence of our spirit. We would not submit, no matter the odds. And so the battle began. For 2 days, we held the Persians at bay. They came at us in waves, but each time they were met with our shields and spears. The phalanx formation was nearly impenetrable. We fought as one unit, each man protecting the other, moving in unison like a single creature. The Persians could not break our lines despite their numbers. I felt pride swell in my chest as I watched my men fight with the skill and ferocity that only Spartans possess. Every blow I struck, every Persian I felled, was for Sparta, for my people, and for the future of Greece. But fate had other plans. A local man named Ephialtes, driven by greed and cowardice, betrayed us. He led the Persians to a hidden path through the mountains, allowing them to flank our position. When I received word of the betrayal, I knew our time was short. The enemy would soon surround us. I called a council of my commanders. The other Greek forces wanted to retreat, to regroup and fight another day. I could not blame them. The odds were impossible, but I would not retreat. This was my stand, and I would see it through to the end. I ordered the majority of the Greek forces to withdraw, to live and fight another day. But I and my 300 Spartans would remain. We would die, but we would die with honor. We had vowed to protect this pass, and we would fulfill that vow. We Spartans were not alone in our decision. 700 Thespians chose to stay with us. They, too, understood that honor was worth more than life. Together, we prepared for our final stand. As the Persian army closed in from all sides, I felt a strange calm settle over me. This was the moment I had been born for. Everything I had done, every battle I had fought, had led to this. The final assault came swiftly. The Persians attacked from all directions, and we fought with everything we had. My spear shattered, and I fought with my sword. My sword broke, and I fought with my hands. The ground beneath us was soaked with blood, Persian and Greek alike, but still we fought. My men fell one by one, but they fell with their heads held high, their spirits unbroken. In the end, there were too many. The Persians overwhelmed us, but they could not defeat us. Not truly, for even in death we had won. We had shown the world that Spartan courage could not be extinguished by mere numbers. We had bought precious time for the rest of Greece to prepare, to unite, and to stand against the Persian threat. As I took my final breath, I knew that our sacrifice would not be forgotten. We Spartans had become legends, and our story would be told for generations to come. Greece would prevail and Xerxes would be defeated. We had done our part. I, Leonidas, died as I had lived, a king, a warrior, and a Spartan. My name would be remembered long after my body had turned to dust, and that, more than anything, was the greatest victory I could have hoped for.